Malcolm X said, education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Welcome back to the latest update series of Drishti IAS. Today we are going to discuss regarding the education sector of India. Amidst a lot of protest, amidst a lot of hunger strike, and a lot has happened. But amidst that, the main question that rises is, how is education sector of India doing? How did it develop? What is its current status? Are we doing enough to promote it? Are we spending enough on it? Do we have good policies regarding that? Are we trying to solve the problems or not? What are the problems that exist and how do we resolve them? And by when we will be able to resolve that? And can we achieve Viksit Bharat 2047 without actually doing all this? To answer all these questions, we have today's session because throughout the journey of these protests, everything has been discussed regarding protests, regarding hunger strikes. We've also created a lot of content for you. But at the same time, we began to think that education sector itself becomes a very huge topic, not just for prelims as well as for mains, right? Especially for mains actually, right? So today we are here with you to discuss an analysis of India's education sector. Shall we begin? All right. So now to understand that, we examine and understand what education is doing today, and we have certain criteria here, we have certain dimensions here that we are going to discuss with you. Number one is the fiscal trends in education. Right? Multi-year contraction in public budget allocation has been seen at both central and subnational levels. So let's see what the fiscal trends are. How much are we spending? Is it enough or do we need to do more? All right. There's a graph here that you can see the state of education expenditure where we can see different states and union territories. They have expenditure on education that is either increasing or decreasing, as you can see. State-wise gross enrollment ratio of 2024 and 25 and the expenditure on education. All right. We see that there have been multiple, emoluments, and in that we are comparing it with the capital also. We are comparing it with the capital also here, NCT Delhi, as well as all states and UTs in percentage. That is what you can see here. It is not about the political perspective, just leave that behind, please leave that behind and try to understand the graph through an administrator's point of view as to where we are lacking and how we are to improve this. Okay, in terms of allocation of budget, if we see union education share in 2013-14 was 4.6% of the budget, then it came down to 2.5% of the budget in 2025-26 somehow. What happened? States budgets average 2013 to 14, it was 17%, right? The share was 17%. States budget average currently it is 13.2%. Can we see a declining trend here? Can we observe a declining trend here? Yes. The takeaway is that despite NEP, the new education policy that we have 2020, that has the recommendation to allocate 6% of GDP. The new policy has recommended that we allocate 6% of GDP to education. Overall public spendings is still stuck at 3.1 to 3.2%, right? Yeah, that is simultaneous in union and state, while the asking is of 6%. We are very far from the target 2.5 and here obviously overall lack, right? If we talk about interstate expenditure, we can observe that Bihar has a higher percentage share, that is approximately 18%, and secondary GER, that is 45%, right? Gross enrollment ratio. What is GER? Gross enrollment ratio. If you are spending, there should be enrollments. More and more people should be coming to take education from you, right? Yeah. From UPSC governance insight, just understand what this means. High fiscal commitment from a small revenue base, demographic pressure still remains unaddressed, right? You are giving 18% for sure, but you are giving 18% of only 20. And consider the same 18% of 100, wouldn't that be large? Your initial corpus is far less to begin with. So your 18% is still not enough to address the needs of your population. 18% seems very high, but then in percentage it is high, not in the actual numbers. Alright. Second thing is Kerala below national average, 94% secondary GER. Budget share trend is below national average. Still they have high outcome driven by historical social investments, and plus they have strong human development baselines. Right. So despite the fact that they are below the average, their expenditure is below the national average, still they have higher outcomes. Right. So this tells us it is not necessarily about the budgeting, maybe it is about the policy and the implementation also, right? That raises a question. Now, Delhi UT sharp rise under priority policy, more than 85% of the enrollment, targeted capital outlay on public school infrastructure, because public school infrastructures were increasing and this gave a lot of enrollments, right? Yeah, so quick outcome improvements can be seen here, and Tamil Nadu trailing national average 78%, and substantial private sector participation is also there. So they are having welfare delivery frameworks on a mature level, right? With the private involvements, a very good welfare delivery is happening. Because of that, Tamil Nadu is also doing good. Alright, in terms of percentage, all of them are doing good, but in reality, a few of them are doing good and few of them still need to work upon it. That is an interstate comparison, as you can see. This is regarding the funding that we see that yes, funding is a problem, but then there are states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu who prove that no, it is not just about the funding. It is also about your policies, it is also about your social environment, your human development baselines. A lot of other factors become party to this particular equation. Yes? Can we analyze that from this? Alright. Now this was the fiscal spending. Apart from that, we see there are many other problems like the learning poverty crisis. Why? Because there are high enrollments, yes. But the problem is there is low learning. In terms of budget, in terms of enrollment, we saw the data. But that data doesn't show the quality of education or the quality of learning they're getting, because the enrollments may be high, learning is still low. Then what use is there of that enrollment? Right? Why is it low? Because primary enrollment is near universal. Annual status of education report clearly says, highlights deep foundational deficits. Why? Because they're saying over 50% of grade 5 student in rural government school still struggle to read a grade 2 level text or perform basic 2-digit subtractions. Grade 5 level students cannot do the basic mathematical calculations. That is low learning for you. That is low quality learning for you. So even if there are enrollments, the quality is very low, and the rote learning and examination centric pedagogy that we have, you need to pass the exam, just rattafy and pass the exam. That whole pedagogy has prevented them from learning anything substantial actually, right? So that has become a core problem, that we are only studying to pass the exam, we are not studying to gain the knowledge. And if we don't do that, the moment we pass the exam, we would want to let go of that knowledge, because that was only useful for passing the exam. Once we have done that, once we have achieved that, why would we want to store that knowledge in our brain? So we keep giving ourselves that signal that, okay, this is only till, we need to gather that information only till we pass the exam, and the very next day we are like, oh, forget everything now. Let's learn new in the next session. That whole pedagogy itself is impacting the developmental skill of an individual, right? Exactly. So there's a critical thinking and conceptual mastery that has never developed, because they were never given the chance to do that because of this examination centric pedagogy, right? Exactly. This is another problem. Next is we have critical central metrics also. Public sector spends as that 31% of the income, public spends as percentage of GDP. How so? Like Kothari benchmark gap was there. First of all, well below the recommended 6% GDP target reaffirmed, right? Higher education GER, it stands at a modest 28.4% according to the recent report, restricting higher skill development. Secondary education dropout, significant retention drop between class 8 and 9, especially among rural girls. So this is fine, we're working there. Research expenditure is there, R&D spending hovers below 0.7%. Below 0.7%, limiting university innovation outputs, right? Yeah. Now, since amidst the protests that are going on, there were videos resurfacing of the campuses of the colleges, especially the governmental universities or colleges, where the glasses were broken, the gates are broken, the locks don't work, the locks at the restrooms or the powder rooms even don't work, right? A lot of these videos have been resurfacing that only bring to light that either there is not enough expenditure or the expenditure is not going in the right direction, right? And that raises this concern why research and development also isn't getting enough distribution. Just 0.7, just imagine, that is nothing compared to nothing, right? 0.7%. We really need to work on that, right? Only 3.1% public spend as percent of GDP, only 3.1%. Next, we have governance and HR bottlenecks. Another problem, governance and HR bottlenecks. Why so? Just understand. Teacher vacancies. Severe shortages are there in faculty positions. Severe shortages across primary and secondary in the rural belts especially, because nobody wants to go there. Because if to go there, you have to live there. To live there, you have to be habitual of a rural livelihood, and mainly people or students today have moved out of these livelihoods. If they have moved out, they don't want to go back to that, where there are no services, no modern facilities, they don't want to go there, right? And mostly the positions are anyway vacant, and if somebody is also being sent there, they just want to get a quick transfer and move to some good city. That is a problem. The non-teaching burden still happens. Teachers frequently are diverted to non-teaching burdens because there's a lack of staff also. So they're even asked to have election duty, census, administrative surveys. They're constantly pushed into those directions. Something or the other is happening while they're not able to focus on their own work, right? And then contractualization, reliance on undertrained, ad hoc, para teachers that compromise long-term institutional quality. They just come, they do their work and go. Later, you cannot even hold them accountable, because by the time you understand what they did, they'll be long gone. Because these effects don't come right away. They don't come forward right away. And by the time they come, they'll be like, oh, okay, tata, bye-bye. They've gone so far away that you won't even be able to administer what they've done. So how do we manage that? How do we manage that? Then out-of-pocket expenditure, soaring dependency on private coaching centers. Even after schools, parents and students, they have to find coaching centers, tuition centers, where the equity divide for underprivileged students is obviously there, because if they don't have that kind of money, they will not get that extra education. And if they don't get that, they will anyways be behind, right? And if they are behind, how do you expect them to perform better? We cannot do that, right? Exactly. So this has also come forward as a major concern here. But we are working on these issues. These are structural issues we need to work upon. We are working upon it. A little bit of progress has also been seen with new policies and administrations. But at the same time, again, it is a very long way to go, right? But let's understand what are the progress signs that we can see. Positive structural shifts that have happened over the time with a lot of efforts. Number one, NEP 2020 shift, transition from rigid 10+2 structure to holistic 5+3+3+4 framework. 10 like class 1 to 10, and then +2 11th and 12th. This is done till 5, then till 8, then till 11, and then lastly even graduation, including graduations also, emphasizing early childhood care and foundational literacy also, right? They are moving above and beyond that and categorizing it in different ways so that you can target it properly. You can target the particular classes and the needs of the students at the time properly. That has been done. Then there is universal access. Primary level gross enrolment ratio consistently exceeds 99%. Why? Because it is backed by Samagra Shiksha and PM Poshan Abhiyans. So they are working because of that. Even if they don't want to study, they just send their kids like, okay, go and eat food. Like, you go play and eat food and then come back. At least until then, we will be free to do some work, and then you will also have a proper meal and a proper place for daycare without spending anything, right? So they are using this as daycare facilities, but at the same time, teachers will make them sit and learn, right? If they step into the school, teachers are going to make them sit and make them learn something or the else, right? So somehow education is being imparted. Then digital ecosystem development of Diksha, PM E-Vidya and Swayam portals to democratize digital content and bridge learning divides. These have also been done. So initiatives are there, they are working in this direction, but still they're not as effective as there is a requirement, right? According to the requirement, they're not just sufficient. We have to do a lot more than this, and we have to completely shift the focus. What can we do as a way forward? Let's understand what can be our multi-pronged reform agenda for sustainable growth in this sector. All right, we have an idea here. Number one, we can have a fiscal compact, like we can co-create a center state target roadmap via CABE to reach 6% GDP spending. Like they come together and create a 6% GDP corpus for education. Then outcome budgets are there, shift from tracking physical inputs to tracking learning outcomes. See the learning outcomes, whether they are learning anything or not, that should be your outcome rather than the exams that they are passing or the classes that they are getting promoted to, right? Thirdly, teacher cadre, separate administrative task and mandate continuous training through Nishtha. Administrative tasks like duties for censors, selections, all this, keep aside. Once you have kept that aside, focus on their training through Nishtha, continuously training them for the recent events like AI, for recent developments and modern technology, so they can impart that knowledge to the children as well, right? And lastly, vocationalization. That is integrate vocational and technical skills from class 6 onwards itself, right? Why? Because these will help them land jobs. These will give them employment opportunities later on. Otherwise, all the content, all the knowledge will be for vain, right? They can enhance employability of the people. That will give them a better livelihood and further enhance the proper purpose of education, ultimately contributing in Indian economy towards Viksit Bharat 2047. Clear? These are the steps that we still need to do. We're still not doing enough, but we are trying. It is not like nothing is being done. A lot is being done, but we still have a long way to go. Don't we? Do you agree? Yes? Exactly. So tell me one thing about NEP 2022, that new policy, 26, that new policy under NEP that you have found like the best feature. What according to you is the best feature of the latest NEP? All right. Tell me about that in the comment section. And on that note, I have a few questions for you to practice on this topic because this is very important for mains. So we have a question for you and an answer key dimension also, like how can you address this question. According to this chart, just try to attempt it, okay? This is the practice question. Take a screenshot and try to write this answer, all right? Okay, that's about it. That was our topic regarding analysis of education sector of India, how it is doing and what can be done further. Yes? All right. That's about it. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.